I will do it tomorrow. That sentence sounds harmless, doesn't it? In fact, it sounds responsible, smart, calm, safe. But what if I told you? This single sentence has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Not because it's loud, not because it's dramatic, but because it feels so comfortable. Tonight, somewhere in the world, someone isn't studying because they said, tomorrow. Someone didn't start that business because they said, tomorrow. Someone didn't change their life because they said, tomorrow. And tomorrow, they will say it again. This is not a motivational video. This is a warning. Stay with me until the end, because you may never say, I'll do it tomorrow, the same way again. Let me tell you a story about a man named Daniel. Now, Daniel wasn't lazy. That's a really important detail. He had goals, big ones. He wanted to get in shape, learn English, start a YouTube channel, and just build a better life for himself. Every single night, Daniel would sit down and meticulously plan his future. He'd map out his workouts, his study sessions, his content ideas, and every single morning, he postponed it. Not forever, just until tomorrow. Daniel's alarm would ring at 6:00 a.m. He'd open his eyes, and his mind would whisper, "You're tired, you need your rest, start fresh tomorrow." So he'd hit snooze and go back to sleep. At work, he'd tell himself, "I'll get right to it after work, no excuses." Then, after a long day, he'd get home, exhausted, and think, "You know what, I'm too drained to do a good job, tomorrow I'll do it properly." Tomorrow became a slippery slope. It soon turned into next week turned into next month, and next month quietly became next year. And here's the scary part, the part that traps so many of us. Daniel felt productive. He was constantly consuming information. He watched motivational videos. He saved articles and notes. He wrote detailed, color-coded plans. But plans without action are just lies you tell yourself politely. They give you the feeling of progress without any of the real work. Nobody warns you about this hidden danger. Tomorrow doesn't steal your success. It steals your urgency. It convinces you that you have an infinite supply of time, so there's no need to act now. Daniel didn't fail in a spectacular, fiery crash. He just delayed. But delay has a price. With every postponed action, his confidence slowly faded. His discipline weakened. The belief he had in himself became fragile and brittle. Every time he said, tomorrow, his future self trusted him a little less. And eventually, his future self stopped believing him altogether. One day, Daniel ran into an old friend from high school. They were the same age, came from the same background, but something was completely different. That friend had a fit, healthy body. He was running a growing business. He spoke with a quiet confidence that filled the room. Daniel, feeling a mix of admiration and envy, asked him, "How? How did you do all of this?" The friend smiled and replied with one simple, powerful sentence, "I started before I was ready." That night, those words echoed in Daniel's mind. He went home and looked at his calendar. He started flipping back through the pages, then the months, then the years, and a cold realization washed over him. 5 years had passed. 5 years of, "I'll do it tomorrow." Here is the truth nobody likes to hear. Tomorrow is a lie your comfort tells your ambition. Your comfort zone wants to keep you safe, predictable, and stagnant. Your ambition wants you to grow, to strive, to become more. Today feels uncomfortable. It feels like effort, like risk. Tomorrow feels safe, easy, and certain. But growth never ever happens in comfort. Dreams don't die from failure. They die from delay. You don't wake up one day and suddenly declare yourself a failure. No, it's much quieter than that. You just wake up one day, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, and realize with a heavy heart, "I waited too long." That night, Daniel didn't feel motivated. He felt angry at himself, angry at his endless excuses, angry at the mountain of wasted time he had built. And for the very first time, he asked himself a dangerous, game-changing question. What if tomorrow never comes? So he did something small, not perfect, not grand. He just did one uncomfortable thing. He dropped to the floor and did 10 push-ups, his arms shaking. He opened his textbook and studied for just 10 minutes. He opened a document and wrote one single page. It wasn't much, but it was everything. That night, He didn't say, "I'll do it tomorrow." He said, "I did it today." Days passed. Nothing magical happened overnight. There was no sudden transformation. But something incredibly powerful started to change deep within him. Daniel started keeping the promises he made to himself. And when you keep promises to yourself, something incredible happens. Your confidence grows. Your discipline strengthens. Your very identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to do things and start seeing yourself as someone who does things. Daniel wasn't special. He wasn't lucky. He just stopped negotiating with time. He stopped treating now as a bargaining chip for a more convenient later. Now listen to me very carefully. If you are watching this video, you are not here by accident. There is something you are delaying. You already know what it is. It's that thought in the back of your mind, that project, that goal, that conversation. And your mind is whispering that same old comfortable lie, tomorrow. But tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is a concept, a hope. The only time you ever truly have is right now. This very moment. Years later, Daniel realized something terrifying. The most dangerous sentence in the world is not, "I can't." It is, "I will do it tomorrow." Because "I can't" is a wall you can eventually break down. "I'll do it tomorrow" is a maze you can get lost in forever. So tonight, do one small thing, not tomorrow, not later, now. Before you close this video, before you scroll to the next one, just do one thing. One push-up, read one page, send that one email. Because one day you will either say one of two things. "I'm so glad I started," or "I wish I had." And the choice between those two realities is happening right now. If this message hit you, like the video and subscribe for more. And prove to yourself that you're done with tomorrow. Go to the comments and write, "I start today." Let's make it happen.